What you're about to hear is an extract from our weekly podcast. If you want access to the full thing, you can get it right now over on our Patreon page at patreon.com/prettygoodgaming, or you can wait till next Wednesday when it goes live to everyone. Thanks. So PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, that's a game we've played a lot of. We've talked about it a lot, but at this point, we all kind of enjoy it. DayZ is a different game. DayZ is a zombie survival game. It does a different thing, but maybe it kind of scratches a similar itch to PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, you'd say. So they've all come from this sphere of the last 5 years or so, where one game comes out, mod comes out for that game, and then that mod gets turned into its own project. That project is split up into different things, so it's all a bit of a mess if you're watching from a distance, I guess. But I think Battlegrounds is far more successful in a far shorter space of time than DayZ has ever been. DayZ made a big splash when it landed. I don't know, you guys, did any of you guys get into DayZ when it first came out?
Yeah,
it was
one of the last games I played, like before I went on like a PC hiatus.
Like 6 years ago.
2012. It was a long while.
That was when it was a mod, right?
Yeah, it's a very rough mod.
Right, I see.
It was like a really rough around the edges mod for Armour 2. Yeah. And, but it was amazing.
It had like a lot of the things that Battlegrounds gives you that feeling. Like you had that feeling of adrenaline, you had the feeling that it's a massive map.
Yeah.
And like desperation,
vulnerability.
One of the things that always stood out to me was that their mics was proximity, so you could hear people talking to each other. Like they decided they've like met each other in the game and they've said like, let's get together, and then they're like talking and they're like, all right, let's go to the airport, and you can hear them, so you have to go down, lie in the grass to avoid them, right? So it gives you that feeling like Battlegrounds does that, you know?
Yeah, and that's where all of that has come from. That's where Battlegrounds has come from. That's where H1Z1, all those kind of battle royale and zombie survival type stuff. That's where they've come from. That's like the roots of it. However, there's a very big difference between DayZ and Battlegrounds, because Battlegrounds only really started development last year, and the plan was to get it out within a year, which they are on track to do by all accounts, and they're releasing regular updates. It's already great to play. It definitely needs polish, but it's already really popular and really successful. It's sold 4 million copies. DayZ, on the other hand, it's just you can't help but kind of laugh at it, because it's been in development as its own standalone thing since 2013, right? That's when it was a game. It's still in alpha. It's not even in beta yet. The most recent bit of news around DayZ is, I guess, no one's really reported on it yet, but DayZ has been review bombed, like really heavily.
Oh yeah.
So it's like mostly negative. That's the rating that it's got for recent reviews on Steam, and then the overall rating has been knocked down to mixed because of the recent influx of these negative reviews. So these are just a little taste of the first page of negative reviews. Well, all the reviews I just scanned through, they just all happen to be negative. So it never gets finished. Just play PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. This is the biggest scam of my life. DayZ is the reason I no longer trust early access. I mean, they're calling it a meme already. They're saying like, this is a meme for early access gone wrong. Pump full of bugs. All those kind of early access complaints are all there. And the one positive review I did see said, I did this for the stickers. that's the
I'm in it for the stickers,
you know what I mean?
Baby.
So it's just getting hammered, all these negative reviews. Why has Battlegrounds done well? Why is DayZ done badly?
Battlegrounds has a very clear goal and plan. They even lay that out on the store page.
Yeah.
It seems like DayZ's been terribly mismanaged from the get-go.
Yeah.
It's still an alpha. The game's changed engines, I think, twice.
Yeah.
They keep going back to the drawing board. They keep taking... I think at one point they actually took the zombies out of the game because they were bugging the game out.
Yeah.
It seems like they don't know what they want to do with DayZ,
exactly.
Whereas Battlegrounds has a clear goal in mind.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I mean, guys, you were the first one to jump into Battlegrounds, like from all of us, and that's where the virus has spread, really, from you, isn't it?
Yeah.
You jumped in with both feet first. Why did you go for it?
I don't know, it's that realistic military shooter experience where around last 30-minute max, I think that was the initial draw of it.
That's huge, isn't it?
Just that realistic experience, that feeling of being in this firefight situation. You can't just jump around and like bounce out of it like you can in Call of Duty. You won't run up the walls or shit like that. You have to think with your brain and not just like, I'll just bounce.
Like opening a door
out of here
is a big call, isn't it, sometimes? So maybe I should just explain that if we haven't already done it a million times on the channel. But the game is, as Gaz said, it's condensed into rounds of like 25-30 minutes, and it's just a very concentrated experience because it starts you off 100 players on this huge map, which is very Armour 2. It's it's like all Eastern European type stuff. So you're all spread across this map. Before you know it, there's a wall of blue smoke closing in around the island, and then it forces all the players closer and closer together over the course of the round. So there's this concentration of time. So everyone's squashed in together over, in 25 minutes. You're going to bump into people, and it's crunching all these players together into a smaller and smaller space. So that there's a counter on the top right of screen to show how many people are alive at any one time, and that ticks down and down and down as the round goes on. It's wonderfully set up. Like, it's a brilliant battle royale setup, if you ask me. And that's one of the key ingredients. It knows exactly what it's trying to do. People understand what it's trying to do, and it's doing it so well that there was like a buzz around it, and that must have been part of the influence for you guys, like hearing everyone talk about it.
That's it. You want to jump in if you hear that a lot of people are playing it, and there's a lot of people playing it, discussing it, and talking about it in articles and stuff. You want to know what all the buzz is about, and you want to experience that, be part of it.
That was very similar when DayZ happened. You know, there was articles all over the place for it. It was like Rock Paper Shotgun writing think pieces about how it was like the most, you know, interesting game ever, and it's a mod and all that kind of, you know, like it's not even a full game.
Yeah, you're right. I think one thing that is already apparent about Battlegrounds though is you know what to do. Kill people till no one left to kill. DayZ, I remember, you didn't really know what to do. You just spawned in the game. You had a map. You could look at the map and see where your friends are, and you'd talk to each other on Skype or TeamSpeak or whatever it was. You know, oh, I'm at the bottom of the map. If you die, you just respawned, right? So it was like, what do you do? It's like a sandbox. Like it doesn't have a purpose. Exactly. Like, it's fun, but see, that's the thing of Battleground. You die, that's it. You know what to do next. It's go back to the lobby and try again, right? Over, another thing is it had this positive buzz. There's 16-year-old kids and there's 18-year-old kids that make up the majority of a lot of these early access survival games, right? That's the average demographic. When I was playing it, they were 10 or 12. They've started and finished puberty, and the game still isn't any one step. You know what I mean? They as a human being have developed from child to adult, and this game hasn't gone from alpha to beta.
Biology is faster than.
I think a huge part of this is the fact that. Can we talk about Dean Hall?
Yeah, let's
because
do it.
It's important. He is the guy that made the mod, so he's like the equivalent of PlayerUnknown in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Red and green.
Yeah, so Dean Hall, this New Zealand dude, he made the mod for Arma 2, made DayZ. Then he fucking upped and left his own project. So that's obviously going to take the wind out the sails because it's his brainchild. It's his like passion project. He left. Yeah. Subsequently. And maybe a little bit off topic, he's then made another game and left that game.
It's not
and made
topic.
Another game and left that game. And now he's got another game.
Yeah.
This is a guy that's climbed Mount Everest. So you'd think that, you know,
and perseverance in the actual military.
Yeah, exactly. You'd think perseverance was part of his core, but he's left 3 games in like 3 years.
Yeah.
And
the result is kind of a rudderless project, isn't it? And I'm sure there's a very competent lead game developer and a lead designer and everything involved, but this was his idea. This was his mod, and the whole thing came from the fact that he thought, yeah, this would be cool. He made it, and then Bohemia Interactive said, we want to make that into a full game.
This is the ultimate thing that needs to be considered, right? What you've got here is 6 years of pre-orders. People have put money down, so they have to make right by them. The captains jumped ship. So now they're all scrambling together, thinking we've got millions and millions of copies, money, worth of copies sold here already. People have already bought the game. They want a game. We don't know what we're doing, but we need to because it's already already sold.
That leads into one of my big questions for this: is what does it actually mean for early access when one of the biggest, most high-profile projects of early access is still in beta 2017. Well, it's not in beta. It's not in beta. Sorry, I have to check myself. It's not even in beta in 2017. What does that say for early access?
It's going to dawn a new kind of era, I would say. I would hope, at least.
People a bit more cautious?
Exactly. People be a bit more conscientious, a bit more aware about what they're buying into.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is doing every early access developer a huge fucking favour because that's almost single-handedly restoring faith in early access.
Absolutely.
Because this is it. Like I've been against early access for a while, and between Northgard and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, seeing updates constantly and stuff, they're saving people like DayZ. DayZ are the example of it in worst case. PlayerUnknown's Battleground, dare I say, is probably the best case.
Can DayZ be saved?
How does it adjust to the world of Battlegrounds now that it's kind of irrelevant? I mean, what can it do, Liam? What do you reckon? It can be relevant?
I think it could be. They need to get their acts together, don't they? They need to put themselves out to the community and say, look, this is what we're going to do. These are our milestones. I think if they even want to stand a chance of getting any faith back, they need to just look at themselves in the mirror and say, right, let's sort this thing.
Yeah, and
I think
follow through with it.
They're like a ship that's taken on board water. They're starting to sink, and the player base is starting to desert them. People are starting to negatively review it. There was another early access game that I invested in called The Culling, which is a battle royale type game. It was like a Hunger Games clone, basically. And that, when it was released, it was really popular and really great ratings. But the player base started turning against that. And now, as an early access game, it's still in early access. They're still releasing updates, but there's about 70 concurrent players at any one time.
Right.
That game is completely dead. It's dead in the water now. I think that DayZ, they've got the work out for them. I don't see how they're going to claw this back when you've got competition coming out of the woodwork like Battlegrounds selling 4 million copies in 3 months. It's just too competitive now.
So the final thought on this then. We've all mentioned like how these games had a really good start. Battlegrounds has had a really good start. I think they absolutely have to put a priority on getting it out this year. When things start slipping back, as we've seen with DayZ, that's when it's spiraled and just gotten worse and worse. Yeah. That's not going to happen with Battlegrounds. I'm very confident of that because of the, like Liam pointed out at the beginning of this, they've got a very clear vision. They know exactly what they're going to do, and they are in the middle of executing it. So it's not like it's not going to get done. But
you get recent updates too, don't you? You get the trailers, and you've had a picture overnight.
Vaulting trailers. I mean, we all remember how
the new map with in the desert that we saw overnight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they tweeted a couple of pictures of the new desert map, which looks awesome, looks wonderful. So what they need to do for me is prioritize getting a very nice polished build out this year, and then if they want to add more content to it and stuff. Agreed. Do that after launch and do that as free LC or whatever, any model that works for them, but that's got to be their priority for me. Get it out, get a finished version of it out, and just put the early access thing behind them and move on from there. Thanks a lot for watching this podcast extract. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see a new gaming video every single day from us, and remember to check out Patreon if you want the full podcast right now. See you next time.